This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Vice President Kamala Harris returns to Wisconsin today. She'll make an appearance with former Congresswoman Liz Cheney in Waukesha County. That's where Republican running mate J.D. Vance campaigned last night. In-person early voting starts in Wisconsin tomorrow.
We want people to vote in every single way that they can. We want every vote to count. Get out there and vote. Vote by mail, vote absentee, vote early, vote on Election Day.
Democratic running mate Tim Walz and former President Barack Obama will be in Wisconsin tomorrow. U.S. Senate candidate Eric Hovde wants incumbent Tammy Baldwin to disclose more about her partner's investments and business dealings.
They don't disclose those investments and how much they're profiting from it.
Maria Brisbane is one of the nation's top wealth advisors. Baldwin says Hovde should stay out of her personal life.
And I think I speak for most Wisconsin women that he should stay out of all of our personal lives.
The two debated Friday night. The race is tight, and the outcome could tip control of the entire U.S. Senate. The Green Bay Packers and the city of Green Bay can't agree on a new lease for Lambeau Field. The issue is who will pay for about $1.5 billion worth of repairs and renovations. The city wants the team to pay more, while the team wants the city and the stadium district to help. A U.S. Supreme Court ruling last week means the EPA can move forward with new federal carbon pollution standards for power plants. Ashley Rudzinski is with the Great Lakes Business Network. She says severe climate events are bad for the U.S. economy.
So we need climate action now to ensure that our economy can be planned, can move forward in a way that's good for business, that's good for communities, that's good for our families.
Power companies had asked the High Court for a pause on work toward tougher standards. Jolly Good Soda is officially the coolest thing made in Wisconsin. The Cryer Foods soft drinks made in Random Lake is the winner of the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce's annual contest. Jolly Good's been around since 1966 and was rebooted in 2013 as a craft soda brand. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. While the fall colors still may be gorgeous, the chairlift rides at Granite Peak have come to a stop. Sunday was the last day of the rides. Now they're looking to shift from the fall chairlift rides to making snow for skiing and snowboarding in less than a month. Granite Peak says this year was quite different from last year. They only lost one day to bad weather out of all 5 weekends, and the crowds this year were larger. The team is already testing their snow guns and expect to have the snow ready for the ski season by mid-November. However, that could change depending on the weather. And pheasant season opened on Saturday and runs through January, up until Sunday the 5th. Hunters over opening weekend had a daily bag limit of 1 rooster per day. Today, the limit increases to 2 roosters per day. The DNR plans to stock approximately 75,000 pheasants from the state game farm on over 80 properties statewide. Hunters can use the DNR's game bird hunting tool to locate the properties. 1 person is dead and 2 others were injured after 2 motorcycles collided head-on Friday night. The Vilas County Sheriff said it happened just before 9 p.m. on County Highway H near Sundance Trail in the township of Lac du Flambeau. Their investigation shows the 2 dirt bikes were traveling on County Highway H in different directions when they hit head-on. 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. The other injured person was taken to Howard Young Medical Center, then airlifted to Aspirus Wausau. The other person was treated for minor injuries. The names aren't being released pending notification of the family, and the crash is still under investigation. And suicide rates have been on the rise in Wisconsin since 2019. And as of 2022, they found that over 50% of suicides in the state had to do with either relationship issues or physical health problems, and older men in rural areas were at the highest risk. They also found that over 16% of adult suicides in the states were veterans. 1 person is dead and another has life-threatening injuries after a 2-car crash near Park Falls in the town of Lake. It happened just before 6 a.m. on WIS 13 southbound at Lakeshore Drive. Wisconsin State Patrol says a Ford F-150 was traveling south when a Buick LeSabre crossed the center line and struck the Ford head-on. The driver of the Buick was pronounced dead at the scene and is a 56-year-old male from Rice Lake. The driver of the Ford was a 71-year-old male from Butternut and has life-threatening injuries. He was trapped in his vehicle from the crash, so extrication resuscitation equipment was used to get him out. He is now at the Marshfield Medical Center in Park Falls, and the State Patrol is investigating the incident and no names have been released. And Minocqua is banding together to help hurricane victims. A few employees at the Boathouse restaurant are teaming up to provide much-needed aid and relief for those people impacted by Helene and Milton. From schools to area businesses, they've been helpful in donating plenty of things. Medford police found the body of Martavius Watts in a search Friday night. According to police, they lowered the water level of Mill Pond to execute the search. At about 9:15 p.m., they found the body of Watts in the river. The police chief said they'll continue to investigate and bring further closure for the family. And Copper Peak officials have a goal of bringing the Olympics to the UP to break the world record in ski jumping. Long before it was a tourist attraction, Copper Peak, just outside of Ironwood, Michigan, hosted ski flying events. But due to regulations and changes to the sport in 1994, Copper Peak is no longer up to the standards of the International Ski Federation. With the help of a very passionate team, Copper Peak is set to become the world's largest ski jumping hill. It's a 180-meter ski jump, and in the Olympics, they jump on a 90-meter and a 120-meter hill, meaning Copper Peak is 50 meters longer. The complete project is estimated to cost $38 million, with $20 million raised so far. And that's what you need to know. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Packers win a thriller. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers with a 24-22 win over the Houston Texans Sunday, thanks to a 45-yard field goal by their new kicker, 33-year-old Brandon McManus.
It's exciting. What a week. Great group of guys. I'm the oldest on the team by 2 years, so some of them are trying to call me uncle and dad already. But no, super excited to be here. What a way to help this team win in my first game here at Lambeau Field.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur.
He's a vet. You can see it. The moment's not too big for him, and obviously that was a big time kick.
Green Bay improves to 5-2. Next, they'll play the Jaguars in Jacksonville. College football, the Badgers able to strip sack Wildcats quarterback Jake Lausch on the way to a 23-3 win at Northwestern. Luke Fickell on his team able to convert turnovers into points.
That's the key element to what we're starting to see from this group is we're able to take advantage of some of these opportunities that are presented to us.
The Badgers host Penn State on Saturday. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Sure, Mel Gibson has his quirks and comes across as a bit crazy at times. Many people seem to have written him off, but not actor Andrew Garfield, who says everyone deserves a second chance. The Spider-Man actor told People magazine Gibson has done a lot of soul-searching and beautiful healing within himself. Many think the actor hurt his career in Hollywood since a DUI in 2006, during which he made anti-Semitic remarks. He directed Garfield in Hacksaw Ridge as recently as 2016, so it's not like he's completely unemployed. Speaking of Spider-Man, Tom Holland teased a script for Spider-Man 4 and says it's coming along nicely. He and girlfriend co-star Zendaya have both read early drafts and are very excited about the project, which is still a long way from being in theaters. So people will have to try even harder to remember Holland's Peter Parker after the previous film's ending. Inside joke. In This Makes a Ton of Sense news, Variety reports that Al Pacino says he took roles in movies that he didn't even understand because he was flat broke. Pacino says one minute he had $50 million and the next minute he had nothing, thanks to his accountant who stole from him and ended up spending 7.5 years in jail. Pacino went back to work, but not for the money he made when he was younger. This makes a lot of sense, as the actor did a lot of not-so-memorable films post-2010. His new memoir, Sonny Boy, is available for purchase this week. If you like musicals, you'll love this. Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson are set to play a couple who is part of a Neil Diamond tribute band. Variety reports Song Sung Blue is in the early stages of production. The cast also includes Fisher Stevens, Jim Belushi, and Michael Imperioli. The show is based on a real-life couple who are struggling musicians and formed said tribute band in 2008, calling it Lightning and Thunder. Who else thinks this sounds like an absolute blast? The Apprentice, starring Sebastian Stan, has caused some controversy and generated the ire of Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. Trump and his team tried to prevent the film from coming out altogether. Stan says that's hypocritical, as the candidate has been touting free speech. The Apprentice follows Trump in the early days of his business ventures. The film received good reviews and is currently in theaters. Remember when we used to order DVDs from Netflix through the mail, and there were times the company was struggling to survive? Those days are long gone. Netflix added 5 million users in the third quarter of this year alone. The company is projecting its earnings to be $43 billion in 2025. That's a growth of 11 to 13% according to Variety, and about $5 million more than last year. The streaming platform now has 282 million users. This must mean lower prices for subscribers, right? Hello? Is this mic on? For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It's going to be another nice one today. Partly cloudy, high in the upper 70s this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy into the low 50s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, becoming breezy, a shower in the afternoon, and cooler with a high in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 58.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.